Do you feel on the threshold of a great change, desiring a radical transformation, yet an invisible force paralyzes you, whispering fears about who you will have to cease to be? Do you realize that your old belief structures, once pillars of your identity, now creak and disintegrate under the weight of a new consciousness emerging from within? It is as if your energetic field is in a state of superposition, existing simultaneously between the self you have always known and the self that yearns for manifestation, a point of no return where your brain's neuroplasticity, though resistant, is compelled to forge new paths. Feel this tension vibrating in your being, this pulsating duality that precedes all great evolution. The universe, through your deepest intuition, is calling you to an unprecedented energetic alignment, a quantum leap beyond your own self-inflicted limits. You find yourself at an existential crossroads, where the promise of freedom dances dangerously with the echo of old attachments. And the question is not if the change will come, but how you will choose to navigate it, transforming the fear of the void into an electrifying anticipation of wholeness. Allow yourself now to confront this truth, this internal reality that has been crying out for recognition, for within it lies the key to your next great chapter. This whisper, which manifests as a cold apprehension in your chest or a dense fog in your mind, is not a sign of weakness, but the voice of the ego, that entity built from memories and conditioning, which seeks to preserve the familiar at all costs, even if the familiar is a golden cage. Your neural programming, reinforced by years of repetition and past experiences, has created a vibrational comfort zone that has now become your limit, a resonance field that incessantly attracts the same circumstances and patterns, trapping your essence in a continuous cycle. You feel that to move forward, you will have to dismantle not just behaviors, but the very architecture of your identity, and this prospect evokes an atavistic fear of annihilation, an existential void that the rational mind struggles to comprehend. However, this resistance is a powerful indicator that you are exactly where you need to be, on the frontier of your own unlimited potential, ready for the collapse of the wave of your old reality and the emergence of a new one, more aligned with your soul. The universe is signaling that the old frequencies no longer serve your expansion. It is time for a new coherence. This sensation of an imminent death of your old self is, in fact, a viscerally real and profoundly authentic experience, not a mere spiritual metaphor, but a palpable energetic process that manifests in every fiber of your being. Your body, the physical manifestation of your consciousness, responds to years of neural patterns and stored vibrational information, and the dissolution of these patterns can be felt as an anticipatory grief for a part of you that is about to be transmuted, an identity that has become so intrinsic that its loss is perceived as a threat to your very existence. This is the moment where quantum physics meets the soul, revealing that matter is energy in constant motion, and the change from one state to another can be as unsettling as the disintegration of a familiar form. You are not crazy for feeling this pain, this anguish of the unknown. It is the irrefutable proof that you are on the threshold of a genuine, vibrational metamorphosis, a deep realignment that precedes all true expansion of consciousness. Feel this validation now, this understanding that permeates your being, knowing that this passage is a universal journey of the soul in search of its totality. The attachment to this familiarity, even when saturated with suffering, is an ancestral survival strategy of the mind, which prefers the predictable security of the known to the liberating uncertainty of the new. It is your limbic system, programmed to avoid threats, confusing the unlimited potentiality of your being with an imminent danger, anchoring you firmly in vibrational frequencies that no longer serve your evolutionary purpose. This internal resistance, which you may have judged as weakness, is in fact the manifestation of a defense mechanism so deeply ingrained that it operates at a subatomic level, maintaining the coherence of a reality that, though limiting, offers the illusion of control. Feel how your own consciousness, by focusing on the pain of imminent loss, inadvertently nourishes and sustains the very vibrational patterns you wish to transcend, validating the quantum theory that the observer collapses the wave of reality. It is a paradoxical cycle. The more you fear losing the old, the more energy you give it. impeding the natural flow of your own evolution toward a state of greater freedom. Understand that this battle is an illusion, and the key lies in surrender. At the heart of this crossroads, you feel the powerful pull between two cosmic forces, the inertia of the conditioned self, which clings to the anchors of the past, and the unstoppable momentum of your soul, which cries out for expansion and alignment with its limitless essence. This is the sacred tension of existence, the moment before a dimensional portal opens in your consciousness, where the void is not a threat, but a blank canvas, awaiting the projection of a new and more authentic reality. It is as if your own energy field is being realigned, requiring you to release the discordant frequencies to make way for a new vibrational coherence, a resonance with the self you truly are. Feel this now, as the air fills your lungs, a pause between what was and what will be, an invitation to allow this duality to dissolve, not in denial, but in a deep and compassionate acceptance that pain is an integral part of the process of rebirth. This is the initial paradigm shift, the understanding that your discomfort is a beacon, not an obstacle, guiding you toward your next great discovery. But what if I told you that this end you so fear is not, in its quantum essence, an annihilation of your light, but rather the sacred chrysalis necessary for your most authentic and expansive wings, the wings of your quantum self, to finally unfold in all their glory? Imagine the caterpillar, which, to transform into the butterfly, not only changes shape, but literally dissolves into a nutrient-rich soup inside its chrysalis, its tissues breaking down in a radical process of disintegration, only to reorganize into a completely different new molecular structure. Its old form is not destroyed. It is transmuted, its energy rearranged into a much higher frequency pattern, allowing for a new manifestation. This is the beauty of dissolution. It is not loss, but a redefinition, an energetic re-engineering of your own internal reality, paving the way for a field of new possibilities to collapse into your life. One must accept this momentary deconstruction so that the true mastery of your essence can flourish, free from all the shackles of the past, inaugurating a new phase of vibrational existence. This process of metamorphosis, which is reflected in nature, finds its exact parallel in quantum physics and neuroscience. Your old self is not a fixed, immutable entity, but rather a complex field of information, a set of probability waves that you, through your attention and focus, have continuously collapsed into a tangible reality. For a new you to emerge, you must consciously begin the process of unobserving the old pattern, withdrawing your energy and its vibrational coherence, allowing these waves to dissolve back into the field of infinite possibilities, into the creative void. This activates a radical neuroplasticity, where the old neural connections that define your limited self begin to unravel, making space for the formation of new synapses, new perceptions, and consequently, a new reality. You become both the scientist and the subject of the experiment, shaping your own internal universe by choosing where you direct your intention and focus. Feel the power of this truth, the sovereignty that resides in your ability to choose your vibrational state. The active acceptance of this process is not a resigned passivity, but an act of supreme courage and spiritual intelligence, a confident surrender to the intrinsic wisdom of the universe that orchestrates all evolution. It is allowing your consciousness to align with the frequency of change, knowing that the temporary void you experience before rebirth is, in fact, a gestation portal, a sacred space where the new is being woven at a subatomic level. This end is a blank canvas, and you are the quantum artist, capable of projecting a new reality for yourself, free from past projections and conditionings. This dissolution is an invitation for you to intentionally co-create from your divine essence, the highest version of who you are destined to be, releasing what no longer serves with gratitude and welcoming the future with an open mind and heart. Feel the potency of this innate power, the ability to transcend your own internal barriers and co-create a life of authentic meaning and purpose, releasing fear in a breath of trust. This video, therefore, does not exist to instill more fear or to reinforce your doubts, but rather to be a beacon, a conscious guide that will illuminate your path through this sacred passage. My promise to you is clear and profoundly transformative. It will give you the tacit permission and the necessary encouragement to let go of the ties to what no longer serves you. The unwavering courage to face the unknown with the certainty of your inner strength and the precise, tangible tools to fully embrace your vibrational metamorphosis, a concept that will resonate in every cell of your being, awakening your true essence. You will understand that the pain of change is merely the catalyst for your greatest expansion, and that each step on this journey is an act of conscious empowerment, a dance with the quantum field that shapes your reality. This is an invitation to demystify the process of rebirth and reveal it as your most powerful and authentic journey of co-creation. Are you ready to claim your sovereignty? What you will emerge as at the end of this journey of self-discovery is not a patched-up version of your old self, but a completely new and radically authentic manifestation, a more powerful, freer version, intrinsically aligned with the frequency of your soul. Imagine yourself as an energy field that, by transmuting the old frequencies of fear and limitation, becomes an irresistible magnet for the experiences, relationships, and opportunities that resonate with your highest vibration. This is the essence of quantum manifestation. It is not about forcing, but about aligning, about collapsing new waves of probability into your reality through the coherence of your new state of being. You will learn to navigate the creative void, the 0 point where everything is possible, and to project, with intention and feeling, the reality you wish to manifest. This is your innate right, your ability to be the conscious creator of your own life, freed from the chains of the past and ready to experience a freedom of being that you may have never dared to dream of. For this journey to begin, I invite you now to an act of deep presence and intention. Gently close your eyes for a moment, allowing your breath to become your anchor in the here and now. Feel the air fill every cell of your body, a wave of vital energy, and with each exhale, release any remnant of tension, any residual attachment to what was, making space for the imminent expansion. Invite your inner courage, that divine spark that resides in your heart, to this moment of radical truth, knowing that you are absolutely safe and supported in this sacred process of self-discovery and rebirth. Allow yourself to be fully here, now, with an open mind and a receptive heart, for your conscious presence is the first and most potent act of your vibrational metamorphosis, the acknowledgement that you are ready to transcend the known and embrace the infinite. Your choice to be present is your first and most significant declaration of sovereignty. Have you ever wondered why, even when you desire freedom and expansion, you find yourself repeatedly returning to the same thought patterns, the same feelings of limitation? This experience is not a failure, but the echo of a deep structure we call the ego prison. The ego, in its primal quest for safety and familiarity, has built a rigid identity, meticulously crafted from the memories of past traumas, the limiting beliefs you absorbed from your environment, and the incessant desire to belong. Think about it. Every old hurt, every whispered "I can't," every unmet social expectation has become a layer, solidifying the walls of this prison that paradoxically feels like a refuge. It is an illusory fortress where you feel safe because everything is predictable, even if it's painful. Feel the density of this construction, how it shapes your energetic field, determining the frequency you emit and consequently, the reality you attract. This is the matrix of your resistance, a resonance field that maintains the familiar, muffling the new. It is a cruel paradox. What was meant to protect now imprisons your most authentic light, preventing the true vibrational metamorphosis from occurring. Visualize this ego construction now as ancient, rusted armor that you have been carrying since childhood. It was forged in moments of vulnerability, designed to protect you from the pains of the world, from disappointments, and from the feeling of not being enough. This armor served its purpose. It was a vital shield when you lacked the internal tools to navigate challenges. However, time has passed, and what was once protection has become an unbearable burden. The movements of your soul are impeded, muffled by the weight and rigidity of the corroded metal. It defines you in a limited way, confining your perception of who you can be, what dreams you can achieve, what love you can experience. You try to fly, but the armor doesn't allow your quantum wings to fully open, keeping you bound to the gravity of a past that no longer exists. Your inner light, which should shine brightly and project new realities, is obscured by the narrow slits of this outdated identity. Feel the exhaustion this armor generates, the energy it drains just to keep it in place, preventing the free circulation of your vital energy and the manifestation of your true self. It is because of this attachment to this armor, to this familiar ego prison, that the resistance to change becomes so powerful, almost insurmountable. Even if you long for a life of more fulfillment, freedom, and joy, the idea of letting go of this known identity evokes a primal fear, a dread of the void, of the unknown. Your neuroplasticity, the neural pathways solidified by years of repetition and conditioning, reinforces this loyalty to the old self, making every attempt at deconstruction a monumental challenge. The mind, programmed to conserve energy and seek patterns, interprets the dissolution of this armor not as liberation, but as an existential threat. It is the anticipatory grief for who you will no longer be, a feeling of being on the edge of an existential abyss. You cling to the familiar even if it causes you suffering, because the known pain seems less terrifying than the uncertainty of a rebirth. But realize this resistance is, in essence, the fear of your own vastness, the dread of the light that resides beyond the walls you have built. Now, as you feel the truth of these words resonate within your being, I invite you to a deep introspection. Close your eyes for a moment and allow your consciousness to dive into the depths of your energetic field. What are the stories you continue to tell yourself about who you are? Stories that, while painful or limiting, still offer you a strange form of security. What are the beliefs about your capacity, your worth, your deservingness that, even while hindering your expansion, you still fear leaving behind? Feel how these narratives cling to your armor like the links of an invisible chain that keeps you anchored to the past. Ask yourself, what would happen if I let go, if I allowed these layers to dissolve? The answer is not annihilation, but a space for your true essence to flourish. It is the opportunity to rewrite your vibrational code, to change the frequency of your being, and consequently redefine the reality you experience. It is an invitation to your highest expression. Still, the question persists, whispering in your heart, how can we let go of this armor? So heavy, so much a part of us, without feeling completely vulnerable, naked before the vast unknown? It is a valid question, an authentic fear that resides in the transition between the old and the new. The key is not in breaking this armor with brute force, but in allowing it to dissolve, in a conscious act of surrender and trust. The answer lies in a deeper, more quantum understanding of who you truly are, beyond the forms and limiting stories the ego has created. True vulnerability is not the end, but the gateway to your most authentic strength. If you feel trapped by this armor of beliefs and past stories, if you yearn for a freedom that transcends the familiar, then this is your moment of intention. Leave an "I release myself" in the comments below and consciously feel the intention of release begin to vibrate in your energy field, preparing you for the imminent revelation of your limitless essence. You now feel a deep calling, an understanding that goes beyond words, realizing that the rusted armor of your old self, discussed earlier, doesn't need to be broken with violence. It can instead be elegantly transmuted. True vulnerability does not lie in the absence of defenses, but in the persistence of the belief that you need them to exist or to protect yourself from a threat that, in its quantum essence, is illusory. Your soul, the field of pure potentiality that you truly are, was never imprisoned or in real danger. Quantum physics, in its profound wisdom, reveals that what we fear losing cannot, in fact, be destroyed. This is a limited interpretation of the mind, an illusion of annihilation that obscures a much more majestic and intrinsic process to your limitless nature. You are on the verge of a revelation that will redefine your understanding of finality and rebirth, inviting you to a new level of acceptance and co-creative power, feeling the energy pulsating in your own totality. Realize that the mind, conditioned to the linearity and solidity of the material world, tends to interpret the end as an irretrievable loss, a permanent absence. However, in the quantum realm, where reality is infinitely more fluid and malleable than our physical senses can initially grasp, the idea of destruction simply finds no validity. What we call dissolution, This process that causes so much fear and resistance is not an annihilation, but a sublime and highly intelligent transmutation of energy. Your old self does not disintegrate into absolute nothingness. It simply returns to its original state of pure energy and information, reintegrating into the vast field of infinite possibilities that permeates and constitutes you. Imagine that you are just undoing a limiting energetic pattern so that a new, more expansive one, intrinsically aligned with your true divine essence, can emerge. There is no loss, only reconfiguration, a dancing rearrangement of particles into a new and more vibrant melody of existence. Your experienced reality, your perceived identity, your persistent thoughts, and your recurring emotions are, in their deepest essence, complex patterns of energy vibrating at specific frequencies within this universal quantum field. When you cling to an old identity, with its memorized stories, ingrained fears, and carefully constructed limiting beliefs, you are, in fact, keeping a vibrational pattern in coherence, even if it no longer serves your evolution. This field, in its impartial nature, neither judges nor retains. It merely reflects and amplifies what you are emitting through your consciousness. By understanding that you are not the physical form or the social persona, but the pure consciousness that inhabits and co-creates these patterns, the resistance to change and dissolution begins to dissipate naturally. Your essence is indestructible, an eternal source of light and information that can never be diminished, only reoriented and redefined in its energetic manifestation. Vibrational metamorphosis, then, should not be experienced as a painful grieving for the death of who you were, but as a conscious celebration of the transmutation of the energy that composed you. Imagine that every experience lived, every belief internalized, every trauma overcome that formed the layers of your old self are, in fact, fragments of light and vibrational information. Instead of being erased or denied, they are released from their fixed form, reintegrating into the ocean of potential of the all-pervading quantum field. They become the essential raw material for a new creation, a more authentic, more coherent, and profoundly aligned version of your being. It is a process of inner alchemy, where the density of the lead of your limitations is transmuted into the brilliance of the gold of your true limitless essence. You do not lose your valuable history. You transcend it, allowing its wisdom to remain as a guide, while the density and emotional weight dissolve into the eternal flow of existence, freeing you for a new phase. 2. Feel this truth deeply. In the core of your being, I invite you to think of water, a universally powerful symbol of your own intrinsic malleability and unlimited potential. First, imagine ice, solid, rigidly defined, with a clear shape and sharp limits, held by a fixed and dense molecular structure. This ice represents your old self, the identity you have grown accustomed to, and which for a time offered a sense of predictable security, even as it prevented you from flowing freely and fully, adapting to new realities. It is the self that clings to past narratives that defines your capacity and worth, based on finite experiences and limiting concepts. The energy contained in the ice is immense, but its manifestation is restricted, contained. So it is with the stories you tell about yourself, which, like ice, hold firm until the energy of intention and acceptance begins to elevate them. Now, feel internally the smooth and inevitable transition from ice to liquid water. It loses its former rigidity, becomes fluid, malleable, adaptable, able to fill any container, to gently bypass any obstacle that arises in its path. Its molecules, though the same, are still there, but now they dance with greater freedom, vibrating at a higher and unhindered frequency. This is the stage of active and conscious dissolution of your old self. It is not a violent or forced process, but a graceful and natural surrender to the very energetic nature of your existence. You don't need to fight for the ice to melt. You simply raise the temperature of your consciousness, of your unconditional acceptance, allowing the transformation to occur naturally. This fluidity is the first profound answer to your question of how to release the armor without feeling excessively vulnerable. You become adaptable, malleable, understanding that your intrinsic strength lies not in rigidity, but in your ability to reconfigure and flow with life in constant motion. And finally, Contemplate water in its most expansive and free form: vapor, light, ethereal, almost invisible to the eye yet omnipresent, merging with the atmosphere, without limits, without visible borders or tethers. The molecules are even more energized, vibrating at an even higher frequency, intrinsically connected to the whole. Vapor represents your purest and most limitless essence, the new self, that majestically emerges from the vibrational metamorphosis. It is the you that has transcended dense forms, that has understood your true nature as pure consciousness, without the shackles of past stories and identities. You do not become nothing in the sense of absence. You become everything, a formless expression that can then manifest into any new form your pure and aligned intention desires. This is true quantum freedom, the conscious dissolution that leads not to annihilation, but to the totality of being. Your resistance to change, your intrinsic fear of letting go of what is familiar and known, even if painful, is like water trying to remain indefinitely in the state of ice. Even when the sun of your consciousness is already high in the sky, inviting it to transmute, you cling firmly to the known form, viscerally fearing what the fluidity of liquid or the limitless freedom of vapor might mean for your carefully constructed identity. However, vibrational metamorphosis is a natural and inevitable process of the evolution of consciousness, an irrefusable invitation for you to align with your highest and truest nature. This internal resistance, this fight against the flow, generates friction, persistent pain, and stagnation, as you are actively working against the natural current of your own energetic expansion. Allow yourself to feel this profound truth now. The form you insist on maintaining is the very one that prevents you from experiencing the limitless vastness that already resides fully within you, waiting to be unveiled. This is the crucial point of our journey, the paralyzing fear of the temporary void of non-being that inexorably arises between the dissolution of the old and the manifestation of the new, the space between the state of ice and vapor, where you are no longer a defined thing, but have not yet fully become the other. This is not a void of absence or annihilation, but a space of pure potential, an infinite blank canvas where your new and most authentic reality can be painted without the limiting colors of the past. Are you willing to experience this temporary vacuum of non-being, to accept the fertile uncertainty that resides in this interlude, to allow your new and most authentic form to manifest, emerging in its full glory? Feel this question not as a frightening challenge, but as a profound invitation to activate your inner courage, a sacred portal to your limitless creative sovereignty. Active non-resistance is the most powerful quantum catalyst you possess, capable of significantly accelerating and facilitating this process of conscious dissolution. It does not mean inert passivity, but a conscious and intelligent surrender to the incessant flow of life and your own energetic evolution. When you stop desperately fighting to maintain the obsolete form of the old self, when you release control and place your trust in the field of infinite possibilities, you open the floodgates for transmutation to occur harmoniously. It is like unclenching fists that were tightly holding sand. As you open them, the sand flows smoothly through your fingers, and what remains is the empty space, now free for something new and wonderful. Your energy, which was once invested in maintaining a limited and dense structure, is now completely free to reorganize into a higher frequency pattern, intrinsically aligned with your true limitless essence and your deepest intention. On the quantum level, your consciousness is the supreme observer, the wave collapser of your experienced reality. Every thought you entertain, every feeling you allow to vibrate in your energy field, every clear intention you emanate, is sending a unique and powerful signal to the field of potential, which in turn responds instantly, reorganizing itself to reflect your vibrational emission with absolute precision. The old self existed as a coherent pattern of information observed and maintained by your own consciousness. For a new self to emerge in its fullness, you need to consciously redirect your attention and intention, ceasing to observe and feed the old pattern. You are literally divesting your life energy from the obsolete hologram and beginning to focus your inner lens, your consciousness, on the expanded and magnified version of who you are destined to be. It is an act of undeniable co-creative power, deeply rooted in the intrinsic physics of the universe. This rebirth through the field is by no means a solitary or isolated effort, but an intrinsic and harmonious collaboration with the universal intelligence that permeates everything. The quantum field itself, in its holographic and interconnected nature, already contains all the information, all the frequencies, and all the potentials of your highest and most authentic version. By bravely surrendering to dissolution, you are allowing this information to manifest fully, for the energy to reorganize into a new coherent pattern that reflects your true, divine, and limitless essence. Nature, in its inherent wisdom, does not fight against transmutation. It embraces it as an essential part of life, growth, and continuous evolution. Your soul, your deepest essence, is compassionately guiding you toward this reconfiguration, toward this vital update of your operating system. You are being reborn, not by an act of force or control, but by an act of alignment with your deepest truth, propelled by the very luminous fabric of existence. Deeply understanding the quantum mechanics behind dissolution transforms paralyzing fear into limitless and authentic empowerment. You realize with crystal clarity that you are not at the mercy of random external forces, but are an active and conscious agent in this process of transmutation and recreation. Your life is not a random accident, but a series of vibrational patterns that you have the innate power to redefine and elevate at any moment. This clarity is a profound release, a sigh of relief you feel now in your chest, as the terrifying idea of death gives way to the glorious inevitability of rebirth. You are not losing anything of intrinsic or essential value, but are bravely releasing what no longer serves your highest purpose, to make space for what is truly authentic, expansive, and aligned with your essence. Feel the courage sprout as you realize that you are not just a limited body or mind, but a field of consciousness that can reorganize itself in real time. Vibrational metamorphosis is, therefore, your inevitable ascent to a higher frequency of being, a conscious and graceful dance of dissolution and recreation that takes you far beyond the limits of your old, carefully constructed identity. It is your sacred journey to embrace the innate fluidity of being, the intrinsic malleability of your own reality, and the innate power to collapse new and infinite possibilities into your lived experience. There is no endpoint or static destination in this evolution of consciousness, only continuous stages of expansion, refinement, and deepening. Instead of resisting this death of what was, you learn to honor it deeply as a sacred portal, an essential rite of passage to a state of greater freedom, joy, and alignment with your divine source. Feel the totality and perfection of this process now, the intrinsic harmony in every step of your quantum and expansive journey. Understanding the quantum mechanics behind this dissolution is the first fundamental step toward your conscious and empowering rebirth. You now understand, on a deeper level, that what seemed like an end is just a new vibrational beginning, an intelligent and intentional reorganization of your energy in the field of infinite possibilities. But how, in practice, do we activate this conscious dissolution and co-create our new quantum self? Not just in theory and intellectual understanding, but in every fiber of our being and in every aspect of our reality. How do we manifest this new frequency, this new vibrational identity, in our daily reality, making it tangible, real, and fully lived? The answer does not lie in a complex algorithm or in secret formulas, but in a series of practical and energetic steps that you can apply immediately in your life. Like this video, if you are ready to embrace the fluidity of being and co-create your new reality with the wisdom of the universe, transforming theory into lived experience and personal power, you have felt the deep call of dissolution, understanding that true expansion requires the courage to detach from the familiar. Now, the question that resonates in your vibrational field is how to transcend this theory into a palpable practice, activating your vibrational metamorphosis consciously and intentionally. It is not about passive waiting, but about active engagement with the forces of the universe, co-creating your reality with a new mastery. The transition from the old self to the limitless self is not a single event, but a series of energetic choices and acts of consciousness that you can initiate today with total safety and support from your own quantum field. Your essence eagerly awaits the opportunity to emerge, and this is the moment to open the portal for it, through clear and empowering steps. Feel this readiness growing within you. The first crucial step to activate your vibrational metamorphosis is an act of deep honor and acknowledgement of your past self. You are not discarding a part of yourself as if it were a mistake, but rather understanding the vital role this version played in your journey so far. Your old self, with its pains, fears, and survival strategies, was the guardian that brought you through unimaginable challenges, shaping the resilience you now possess. It taught you invaluable lessons, even if the learning paths seemed arduous. Denying or resisting this part of your history only solidifies its energy in the field, creating a repetition that prevents you from moving forward. Feel the truth of this. Every experience, every version of you, was a necessary step toward the greatness you are becoming. To begin this process of release with grace, I invite you to a consciousness exercise. Feel your body and locate where this energy of the old self resides, perhaps as a tightness in the chest, a slight ache in the back, or a feeling of heaviness. Breathe deeply, and with your focused intention, send genuine gratitude to this part. It is not gratitude for the pain, but for the journey it allowed, for the strength you discovered in overcoming it, for the wisdom you accumulated in each obstacle. Imagine you are saying goodbye to an old friend who has fulfilled their mission. Tell them, silently or aloud, "Thank you for everything you have done. I love you, and now I release you, allowing myself to ascend to a new state of being." This loving validation is the key that disarms internal resistance. With gratitude resonating, the second step is the declaration of your creative sovereignty, the intention to release, and the unconditional permission for the new self to manifest. You are not waiting for the transformation to happen, but actively collapsing the waves of possibilities from your future into the present. Think of a quantum field where all versions of you already exist simultaneously. By focusing your intention on the self you wish to be and withdrawing your energy from the self that was, you direct the particles of reality. This is an act of pure alchemy, where your consciousness becomes the catalyst. Visualize a clear intention, like a beam of light emerging from your heart and extending into the universe, declaring, "I choose to release what no longer serves me. I allow myself to be my most authentic and expanded version." This permission is more than a thought. It is a vibrational decree that reorganizes your energy field. We often underestimate the power of a conscious and unreserved yes to our own evolution. You have the innate ability to release patterns, beliefs, and fears that do not resonate with your higher truth. Feel this permission expanding through every cell of your body, like a gentle wave that dissolves old tethers. It's like opening the windows of a stuffy room, allowing fresh air and light to enter, renewing everything. With each inhalation, you absorb the energy of the new. With each exhalation, you release the old with total confidence. This is the moment to give yourself the license to be all that you came here to be, without guilt, without fear. The third step, essential for anchoring this vibrational metamorphosis, is the visualization and somatization of your new state of being. You don't just think about the future, you feel it in the present. Neuroscience shows us that the brain does not distinguish between a lived experience and a vividly imagined one, creating new neural pathways that correspond to the reality you are projecting. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the highest, freest, and most authentic version of yourself. How does it move? How does it speak? What feelings does it radiate? What is the quality of its energy? Do not be limited by your past experiences. Allow your imagination to create without boundaries. This is your personal quantum field, responding directly to your internal commands. Now, most importantly, feel this new version of yourself. Don't just see it, but embody it. Let the emotion of empowerment, freedom, joy, peace, or purpose flow through you. Feel the texture of your new reality in your hands, the sound of your new voice, the warmth of your new heart. Allow this high-frequency vibration to fill every cell, every atom of your being. The more you can feel the future in the present, the faster your energy field reorganizes to match this new vibrational blueprint. It is like a powerful magnet that attracts the circumstances, people, and opportunities that resonate with your new identity. This is the process of collapsing the wave of potentiality into a tangible reality. Repeat this exercise of visualization and somatization daily. Create a ritual, a sacred moment in your day where you dedicate yourself to being this new version of yourself, even if for just a few minutes. Consistency is the key to neuroplasticity, to reinforcing these new neural connections and solidifying your new vibrational pattern. Each time you do this, you are not just dreaming, you are rewriting the code of your reality, informing the universe of who you are now and what you are ready to receive. You are activating your internal projector, transmitting the frequency of your vibrational metamorphosis so that the universe can tune in and manifest the corresponding experiences in your physical life. Feel the truth of this power within you. Imagine now that you are truly a quantum artist. Your consciousness is the most sophisticated projector in the universe. Until now, you may have unconsciously kept the focus on the hologram of your old self, with its limitations and its predefined stories. But as a master of your own creation, you have the power to change the projection at any moment. You don't destroy the old hologram. You simply redirect the light, the energy, and the intention to a new design, to the image of your most authentic and powerful version. Each of these steps, the grateful acknowledgement, the intention to release, and the felt visualization, are the buttons and controls of this projector, recalibrating the frequency of your emission. You are consciously ceasing to feed the old hologram with your attention and emotion, and with the same or even greater intensity, you begin to project the new one. The beauty of this process lies in its simplicity and its profound resonance with the laws of the universe. There is no need for struggle or suffering. There is only the conscious choice to shift your focus, to realign your internal frequency. The universe, a perfect mirror, reflects back to you what you are projecting. If you project the version of yourself that is in the process of vibrational metamorphosis, it will respond with the experiences and opportunities that mirror that transformation. It is a constant dialogue between you and the field, and you hold the pen of your own story. Faced with these three powerful steps, honoring and releasing, intending and allowing, visualizing and feeling, what small action, what seed of intention can you plant today, at this very moment, to consciously release an old layer, a limiting belief, or a persistent fear, and invite the energy of your new, higher, and more expansive version to fill the newly liberated space? Feel the answer in your heart, not in your rational mind. It could be something as simple as a new habit, a new affirmation, or a moment of focused silence. What matters is the energetic commitment behind the action, the validation that you are ready for this personal quantum leap. Allow yourself to take this first step without judgment, only with love and courage. By integrating these steps, you are not just allowing the gentle death of the old, but you are actively cultivating and flourishing in a new reality, a reality that pulses with the energy of your most authentic and aligned version. The quantum field, in its infinite wisdom, is responding to each of your conscious intentions, reorganizing itself to reflect your new frequency. You are building an invisible but powerful bridge between your present self and your future self. But how do you ensure that this new identity is not just a glimpse, but manifests fully and lastingly in every aspect of your life, anchoring it so that it becomes your new and unshakable truth? The true magic continues, expands, and solidifies. If the resonance of these insights has touched your soul, and if you feel the undeniable truth that you are on the threshold of your own vibrational metamorphosis, then the universe is inviting you to be a beacon. Share this video, this invitation to deep transformation, with someone you know is also seeking this courage, this validation, this permission to break free and ascend. By sharing, you not only amplify the light, but also solidify your own intention, reinforcing the energy of change in your own field. Be an active agent of this consciousness revolution, a catalyst so that others may also embrace the end of what does not serve and the glorious beginning of their most authentic expression. Your action has quantum power.